Okay, so now let's take a look at the part 3 or problem 36. And this one, the South High School is given. Address range is 172.32.16. Right? So this is given, right? Okay, so what is given is, okay, so let's take a look at this problem. So the South High School, right? This is given. Copy and then paste. Okay, so this address range is given, right? And then if you look at the first part 1, the South High School is right there, right? So they're trying to divide this South High School into many different pieces. Like how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different network. Okay. So what they are trying to do is, let me just draw the diagram. So previously they have what? They have, if you look at the part 1, right? Part 1 we have North High and then South High, right? And then requirement for the South High is a 2000, right? And then we're trying to divide this yellow network, right, into what? Into many different pieces, to be precisely one. Okay, so this is a part 3, right? The students' network devices, printer, staff, and admin, right? So the range is, this was what? If you look at the problem, the range is 172. Okay, range is right there, right? The 172.32.16.0, right? 172.32.23.255. So this is range given, right? And then this one, I believe, /21. Okay, so we are trying to divide this network, right? We are trying to divide this network into what? The first one is students' network devices, right? Students' network, and then network devices, I just call it net, and then printer, right? And then staff and admin. And the students, what? 1000, and then for network is 250. Okay, so we'll take a look at this 2 network. Okay, now the first one is students, right? The students. So let's just work on the students with the 1000. Okay, so let's work on the students. Students network requirement is 1000, right? Okay, so 1000. So we know that this is what? This is a class B. We have to use a class B chart. By the way, let's just read this problem. Based on the information below, supply the required address, range, and subnet mask for each school area. Use both class B and class C address chart to break down the sub-network addresses for the different area of the network. Okay. The reason that they have to use a class B and class C chart is this one, right? 1000, right? We have to use a class B chart. But for the 250, we have to use what? Class what? C chart. And that's why in the problem they have to, they are telling us that you have to use both B chart and then C chart. Okay, so the 1000 we immediately know that we have to use a class B chart, right? 1000. And then our starting IP address is what? 172.32.16.0. So that's our starting point, which is basically this, right? Okay, by the way, for the /21, that's like a 2048 host. Okay. So with this one, 2048 host. Okay. So if I just draw this network address space, right? And the starting point is what? 172.32.16.0, right? And the ending address is this guy, 172.32.23.255. Okay. Now we are going to use a 1000 host, right? So with the 1000, we have to use what? Okay, by the way, this is /21, right? /21. Yeah, 4000. Okay, good. So this address space is what? 2048, right? 2048. And then among this, at least we need to use 1000 address space for the students. For the 1000, right? We have to use what? For the 1000, yeah, /22, right? We can use a /22. Okay, so we can use a /22. So we know that I can use a /24, right? So it's probably what, 1000. So the half of them is used already, and for the students, right? Okay, so /24, and then so what is the answer? So I give you 1 minute, okay, and to think about this. So I give you 1 minute. I'm gonna pause my recording. Yeah, sorry, it's I made a mistake. /22. Sorry. Thank you. Thanks for the correction. So it's /22. Okay, so I'll give you 1 minute. Okay, so any volunteer? Okay, so first of all, let's look at the south high, right? South high is 172.32.16.0 all the way to 23, right? 32 to 23 and 23. So basically the yellow, right? So I'm going to use the yellow. It's basically what? This one, right? This one is the basically address space for the south high, right? And then we use a /22, right? So basically this is a yellow, right? Oops, this is a yellow, right? And this is yellow, right? And then the next one, right? This I'll use as a green, the students, right? And then 1000, that means we need to use at least what? We need to use a /22. That means this is a green, right? For the students, right? /22, right? Okay, so that's a green, right? So what is the answer? 16 through 19, right? So by the way, this is class B chart. That means we have to change the third octet, right? Then we need to, right now, we need to work on, right? We need to really focus on the third octet. So what is the answer? Anyone?
172, 32, 19, 255.
Thank you. Thank you. So the answer is right. The answer is let's go back and okay. So the answer is what? This 19, right? You see the 19, right? 16 to 19. So the 16 to 19, right? So 172.32.19 and what? Dot 255. Okay, so that's the answer. Okay, and the next one, right? And by the way, I want you to think about this problem, okay? This is what I'm going to do for the final exam. I'm going to tell you. So this is why you have to watch my video tutorial multiple times, and you can practice, right? The best way to practice is what? Bring having a pencil and white paper, just blank paper. And then if you can write this, right? Practice this with pencil and paper. Don't just take a look at it. Okay, watch my video tutorial. It's not going to it's not going to work out. So you have to use your pencil and paper, and you have to write down all the solutions multiple times. Okay? And this is something that I'm going to do on the test. Instead of 1000, I'm going to change this number to, let's say, 400. And instead of 250, maybe I can change this number to 120. Or maybe, the thing is manipulating this number, right? Or manipulating the customer names. Like right now, I have a 5, maybe I can have a 2, or maybe I can have a 3, right? And then I'm going to ask you, okay, what is the broadcast address of the student network? Right? So think about it. Okay? What if I change these numbers and how the answer can change? Okay, so that's a student network, right? And then what is it? The next one is what? Network device, right? How many? Requirement is 250. Okay? Requirement is 250. Okay, so since the requirement is 250, I have to use what? I have to use a Class C network, right? So I have to use a Class C chart, VLSM chart. So, okay, by the way, for the network, right? Network devices, I have a 250, that's a requirements. And that's why I have to use a Class C chart. And then what is my first address? When I add 1, right? What is it? 172.32. What? Any volunteer? Anyone?
20.0.
Thank you. It's 20.0. And then something, right? So that's your answer. And then now it's let's take a look at the what? Let's take a look at the chart, right? And with the 250, I have to use what? I have to use /24, right? With the 24. So that means, by the way, this is a Class C chart. That means I have to use what? This. 0 to 255. I know that this is what? Class C. So I have to manipulate my 4th octet. Right? So that means what? This my 4th octets. And what is the answer?
172, 32, 20, 255.
Thank you. What is your name?
Sarah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. 172.32.20.255. right? The 4th octets. And then 0 to 255. So any question? Okay. Then I think I give you enough hint, right? I think it's more than enough. I think you can, right, you can have what? So I think you can solve the rest. Okay? And then I'm going to create a link soon, but anyway, so that's the your VLSM problem, right? And by the way, hold on. Yep. And then if I give you a little bit more hint, the printers is 200, right? So printer is 200. So next one is printer, right? Printer, what? It requires 200. That means you need to have /24, right? But anyway, so you can fill out the rest. And then rest of them you have to use what? Class C chart, right? Okay, so any other question? Okay, so let's take a break.